As Kasali sprinted through the dense forest that night, the cool air whipping against his face, he was not alone in his flight. Unbeknownst to him, a shadowy figure followed closely behind, moving swiftly and silently among the trees. This figure was none other than Dima, the former loyal servant of King Larger. Despite the darkness, Dima's determination glowed brightly within him. He had concocted a plan to save Kasali as soon as he learned that Chief Ola had captured him and thrown him into a cell. Dima knew the truth. Kasali was innocent of the crimes laid upon him. Chief Ola's accusations were nothing more than a thin veil to disguise his true intentions, eliminating Kasali because of his formidable nature and growing influence in the newly established village. Dima, having overheard Chief Ola plotting with his men to frame Kasali, could not stand idly by and watch an innocent man, their savior, be destroyed by greed and envy. As they ran deeper into the forest, Kasali abruptly stopped, his sharp instincts sensing the presence behind him. He turned to face Dima, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "Why did you save me?" Kasali asked, his voice steady but filled with a hint of suspicion. Dima, breathing heavily from the chase, replied with conviction, "I couldn't stand by and watch Chief Ola kill our innocent savior. I will do everything in my power to fight for justice in this village." His words were earnest, carrying the weight of his loyalty and sense of righteousness. Kasali nodded in gratitude, understanding the gravity of Dima's actions. "Thank you," he said sincerely. Then, as he prepared to continue his escape, Dima asked, "Where are you headed?" "In case you need help in the future." "I'm going to the village of Poma," Kasali replied. "The place where I was raised by a fisherman." Just as Kasali was about to resume his flight into the depths of the forest, he caught a glimpse of another figure emerging from the shadows. It was Queen Noma, running with all her might. Despite the hardships she had faced, her youthful appearance and agility belied the strength and resilience that lay within her. Both Kasali and Queen Noma continued their desperate flight, their feet pounding the forest floor as they pushed deeper into the wilderness, leaving the new village far behind. The night cloaked them in shadows, the trees towering above like silent sentinels. As they ran, the prophecy that had long been dormant began to stir, inching closer to its inevitable fulfillment. Yet, neither of them knew the true connection they shared, unaware that destiny was quietly drawing mother and son together. Eventually, they stumbled upon a clearing where they paused to catch their breath. Kasali, curiosity piqued, turned to Queen Noma and asked, "Why did you leave the palace? Why follow me into this darkness?" Queen Noma's eyes, filled with a mix of resolve and sorrow, met his. "I followed you because I knew you were innocent," she replied. "You were framed by a wicked man, Chief Ola. He dethroned me from ruling the village and claimed the throne for himself. He turned me into a toothless dog that can bark but cannot bite. Everyone in the village believes I am still in charge, but in truth, Chief Ola has taken control." She continued, her voice tinged with frustration. "I had a plan to save you, but Dima managed to act before I could. He did the right thing." Kasali, surprised by her words, felt a wave of gratitude and disbelief wash over him. "Thank you for believing in me," he said softly. "I thought the whole village had turned their backs on me after everything I did to save them." Queen Noma placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We must bring justice to the village, Kasali. We must remove Chief Ola from the throne he has no right to occupy." Kasali's face hardened, his expression a blend of shock and fury. "I will go back and kill that useless chief who used me and discarded me like trash," he spat, anger boiling over. "Why do I deserve this? Why does everyone I try to help end up wanting to kill me?" Meanwhile, back in the new village, Chief Ola gathered the villagers the next morning. With a feigned look of concern, he announced, "Kasali broke out of his cell during the night. He has disappeared and taken the queen with him. Now, Kasali is a wanted criminal, a murderer who has killed our people and kidnapped our queen." Chief Ola's words spread through the crowd like wildfire, igniting fear and confusion. He worked tirelessly to tarnish Kasali's reputation, twisting the truth to serve his own ends. His goal was clear, to make Kasali an enemy in the eyes of the villagers, so that eliminating him and claiming his property would be a simple task. The villagers, swayed by Chief Ola's deceit, began to murmur among themselves. If he broke out and took the queen, then he must be the real criminal, they whispered. He must be found and punished. As the villagers voiced their suspicions, Chief Ola's face twisted into an evil smile, satisfaction gleaming in his eyes. His plan was slowly coming to fruition, step by step, and soon Kasali would be out of the way for good. Back in Poma, Kasali and Queen Noma found refuge in a small, secluded hiding place. Though they were safe for the moment, their lives were overshadowed by a deep sense of sadness and regret, emotions that clung to them like a shroud. Revenge simmered beneath the surface, a dark flame that refused to be extinguished. They shared the same room, living in close quarters and relying on each other for support in this unfamiliar village. Yet, despite their shared struggles, Queen Noma could not stop thinking about the dramatic shift in her life. Once a powerful queen, she now found herself reduced to a mere villager, stripped of her status and isolated in a place far from the grandeur of her former life. She was not accustomed to such a humble existence, and the weight of her fall from grace bore down heavily on her. Kasali, too, was plagued by relentless thoughts. His mind often wandered to the vast farmland he had left behind, the property that had once been his pride and joy. The more he dwelled on it, the more the bitterness gnawed at him, and the need for an escape from his own thoughts grew stronger. In a moment of impulsive desperation, Kasali ventured to the market and returned with a generous supply of palm wine. That night, both he and Queen Noma drank in excess, hoping to drown their sorrows and ease the burdens that had taken root in their hearts. They had it night after night. They repeated this act, the palm wine becoming a temporary balm for their wounded spirits. Mother and son, unknowingly bound by blood, sought solace in the haze of intoxication, using the drink to numb the pain of their harsh reality. However, their fragile peace was shattered one night when Chief Ola, accompanied by his guards, burst into their hiding place. The door flew open with a crash, and before Kasali and Queen Noma could react, they were seized and arrested. Panic and confusion flooded Kasali's mind as he was dragged from the room. How did Chief Ola know we were here? Who betrayed us? He wondered, his thoughts racing in all directions. The journey back to the new village was long and grueling, each step laden with a sense of impending doom. Along the way, Kasali's heart sank as he caught sight of a conversation between Dima and Chief Ola. The truth hit him like a physical blow. Dima had never been on his side. He had been part of Chief Ola's elaborate scheme all along, helping Kasali escape the cell only to set him up for an even greater fall. As they reached the village, Chief Ola approached Kasali, his voice dripping with malice. "This is your end," he sneered. "I will kill you and take your properties." Kasali, now broken by the weight of his suffering, could no longer muster the strength to fight back. His body was weak, his spirit crushed by the relentless betrayal and hardship he had endured. The realization that he had been manipulated at every turn drained the last of his will, leaving him feeling utterly defeated. Chief Ola, with a cruel smirk playing on his lips, released Queen Noma from captivity and summoned his guards to execute Kasali. The villagers, despite all that Kasali had done to help them in the past, watched with indifference. Their minds had been poisoned by Chief Ola's lies, and they showed no pity for the man who had once been their savior. As the guards prepared to carry out the execution, Queen Noma suddenly stepped forward, her voice ringing out with defiance. "If you are going to kill Kasali, then you must kill me too," she declared, her eyes blazing with courage. "He did not kidnap me, I ran away with him to escape. Chief Ola has been abusing me, and I am not the one ruling you. Chief Ola took the throne from me and threatened to kill me if I revealed the truth." The villagers gasped in shock, murmurs spreading through the crowd like wildfire. This was a revelation they had not expected, and for the first time, doubt began to creep into their hearts. But Chief Ola, furious at the queen's boldness, did not hesitate. In an instant, he barked an order to his guards, "Take the queen and kill her alongside Kasali." But just as the guards moved to carry out the command, Dima stepped forward, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "No," he shouted, halting the guards in their tracks. "We did not agree to this." Dima's voice was steady, but his words carried the weight of a confession. "Chief Ola, you framed Kasali for the deaths of those two people on his farm. You lied to the villagers, saying he kidnapped the queen. That is not true." You only said you would kill Kasali and take his farm, you never mentioned killing the queen." The villagers, now fully engrossed in the unfolding drama, listened with bated breath as Dima continued to expose the truth. "I was the one who released Kasali from the cell, and I did so under Chief Ola's orders, to make Kasali appear more guilty in your eyes. But killing the queen was never part of the plan." Dima hesitated for a moment before revealing an even darker secret. "The queen is carrying my child. For more than 30 years, I have been sleeping with the queen. I can't allow Chief Ola to kill her and my unborn second child." The crowd erupted in shock and disbelief. The revelation was scandalous, and the implications were profound. Just then, the Oracle Master stepped forward, his voice carrying the authority of the gods. "Kasali, the man who saved us, is actually the child who was lost many years ago by King Larger in the Jej forest," he announced. The Oracle Master continued, his words heavy with prophecy. Kasali's destiny was to kill his father and marry his mother. However, it seems the prophecy will not be fulfilled. Queen Noma has already come to realize that her child is still alive, and they have even shared memories together since they escaped. The Oracle Master paused before delivering the final blow. King Larger is dead, as the Oracle foretold. But Queen Noma now reveals the bitter truth. Kasali is not the child of King Larger. Dima is the true father of Kasali. Dima, his face lined with guilt and sorrow, nodded in agreement. "I am Kasali's father," he confessed. "And yes, I have been sleeping with the queen for a very long time." The revelations hung in the air like a storm cloud, ready to burst. The villagers, Chief Ola, and even Queen Noma herself were stunned by the cascade of truths that had just been unleashed. The prophecy, the lies, and the forbidden relationships were all laid bare, setting the stage for the final reckoning. At this point, the truth was laid bare, unraveling before the eyes of the village due to Chief Ola's insatiable ambition to become king and his greed for power. His web of deceit and treachery had finally been torn apart, exposing the darkness that had festered beneath the surface. The Oracle Master, who held the authority of the gods, decreed that justice must be served. Chief Ola, Queen Noma, and Dima were arrested, their fates sealed by the weight of their sins. Chief Ola, the architect of so much pain and suffering, was judged harshly. He was sentenced to death for the murder of 2 innocent villagers, a crime he committed to frame Kasali and secure his unlawful claim to power. His execution was swift, a final, grim testament to the destruction wrought by his greed and lust for control. Dima, too, faced the consequences of his actions. For his role in committing a grave sexual transgression with the king's wife and for aiding Chief Ola in his nefarious plot, Dima was condemned to spend the rest of his life in a cold, dark cell. His betrayal had cost him everything, his freedom, his honor, and the son he had secretly fathered. As for Queen Noma, the woman who had once held the title of queen with pride, she was stripped of her royal status and banished from the village entirely. The village that had once revered her now cast her out, her legacy tainted by the scandal and deception that had come to light. She walked away from the place she once ruled, her head bowed in shame, knowing she could never return. In the aftermath of these revelations, the Oracle Master consulted the gods once more. After communing with the divine, he announced that the gods had chosen Kasali to be the rightful king of the village. This decision was rooted in a twist of fate that had occurred when King Larger, in his ignorance, altered Kasali's destiny at birth. When King Larger had first spoken to Queen Noma, he had lied about the prophecy, saying, "Well, it is just a normal destiny. He will become king and do good for the village." Unbeknownst to him, those words had reached the ears of the gods, who had immediately changed Kasali's destiny in that moment. Now, years later, the prophecy had come full circle. Kasali, the man who had been cast away as an infant, had returned to claim the throne that was rightfully his. Kasali ascended to the throne, his heart heavy with the knowledge of the past but resolute in his determination to lead the village into a new era. The land that had once been his was now his kingdom, and he vowed to rule with wisdom and justice, a stark contrast to the tyranny of Chief Ola. Not long after Kasali's coronation, a mysterious event shook the village once more. The Oracle Master, who had played a pivotal role in the unfolding of these events, died under mysterious circumstances. Whispers spread throughout the village that this was the god's punishment for his own transgressions, his failure to reveal the full truth of Kasali's destiny and his complicity in covering up King Large's attempt to kill the infant Kasali. The oracle master had once lied, claiming that Kasali had been taken by harmless spirits in the forest, when in reality, he had been abandoned to die. The story of Kasali serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that we should not be overly fixated on destinies or prophesies. Sometimes, destiny can be altered by human actions and decisions. Consider the case of King Larger. He unknowingly used his words to transform a grim prophecy into something far more positive. However, his obsession with preventing the prophecy led to his downfall and brought a curse upon his people. It teaches us that in our attempts to control or avoid our fates, we might inadvertently set in motion the very events we wish to avoid. Another vital lesson is the importance of helping others, regardless of our circumstances. Kasali, despite King Large's attempt on his life, chose to help the people of the village. His selflessness ultimately led him to the throne. His story illustrates that we never know how our actions today might shape our future. Kasali's rise to kingship is a direct result of the kindness he showed, even when he had every reason to turn his back. The story also warns us about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Chief Ola, driven by his greed and desire to seize Kasali's properties, committed heinous crimes. His ruthless pursuit of power led to his execution, showing that ambition, when not tempered by morality, can lead to one's ruin. Furthermore, the narrative underscores the importance of self-control, particularly in matters of sexual desire. Both Dima and Queen Noma succumbed to their urges, leading to disastrous consequences for themselves and those around them. Their illicit relationship, hidden for years, eventually came to light, bringing shame, punishment, and downfall. Their story reminds us that unchecked desires can lead to the loss of everything we hold dear. Lastly, the tale urges us to be vigilant and discerning about the people in our lives, especially those who work closely with us or have access to our personal affairs. Dima, a mere servant, secretly had a relationship with the queen, a fact that highlights the importance of knowing and understanding the character of those around us. Queen Noma's lapse in judgment also serves as a reminder that we must be careful in choosing whom to trust and confide in, as those closest to us can sometimes be the most dangerous. In conclusion, this story is a powerful reminder of the complex and often unpredictable nature of life. It teaches us that while we may not be able to control our destinies entirely, our actions, choices, and the people we surround ourselves with play a crucial role in shaping our futures. We must navigate life with caution, wisdom, and a moral compass, for anything can happen in this world, and it is our vigilance that will guide us safely through. Please subscribe to African Folktale Spot for more amazing stories like this one. Also, if you are following our other story named Her Mother Set Her Up to Get Raped by 7 Men, the second part will be released next week. Thank you so much for watching our stories. See you soon.